Okay. So we welcome everyone on this special edition online session. We have now two guests from Denmark, Sarah Hanhart, sorry, and Damir Posavec.
Yes.
Yeah, and they are going to tell us about their approach, what they have in Denmark. And I'll let them to introduce themselves. So please take the microphone and.
All right, thank you. So I am Sarah Hanhart, like you said, and I am from the Netherlands. I am working for DNS in the International Relationships and Communications. And for the past 2 weeks, I have been traveling around Hungary, visiting different schools to do workshops and presentations about what we do at DNS.
And my name is Damir. I'm currently a student at the DNS Teacher Training College on my 3rd year. And I'm from Croatia. And yeah, currently I'm on the teaching practice part of the program. And I'm actually in teaching practice as a teacher in DNS, which maybe I'll tell more about later.
Yes, and today, yes?
May I have a question? Do you teach, Damir, in there, like where the DNS is? Like, do you have there your own school where to practice, like a practical school or practicing school?
No, I'm actually like a teacher in practice at the teacher training college where we are.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
And today we have prepared a little presentation for you about what it is we do at DNS and something about how we learn and what our pedagogical principles are. And Damir, if you could tell us something about how DNS came to be, that would be really nice.
So
and I will share the presentation in the meanwhile.
Yeah. So DNS is a non-traditional international teacher training college that is based in Denmark. So it's not really that much maybe a representative of the Danish school system, which is also special in its own right. There's a lot to talk about, but what we can talk about is our special teacher training program that we do. And it was started in 1972 by a group of teachers who decided that to take a 1-year trip in a bus around the world and to collect some experiences, to learn about it. And after they finished their trip, they reflected on what they had learned and realized that it is what they have gained from this trip was very valuable, and considered and made a teacher training program that has this study travel as a basis. And considered that this was in 1970 something, so that in those years things like this were much more possible. It was also based on a concept of Danish education called the Højskole, which is more holistic and more focused on developing the humans as a whole and hand skills and different things like that. So there was already a foundation for this type of education that was more different than the traditional ones. And yeah, the idea behind this kind of teacher training was to train the kind of teachers that the world currently needs, and that would be engaged global citizens and aware and active about the certain global issues in the world at the moment, and to use education as a way to make a difference in the world.
That's right. And before we will tell you a bit more in detail about what it is we do during the program, I thought it would be nice to share a video about DNS. So you will get a better view of the overall atmosphere that we have at the campus with the different students and the and the headmaster as well. Let me pop it up. There.
DNS is a 3-year bachelor program that trains people to become another kind of teachers.
The world is developing at a speed faster than ever before, and we are facing some enormous challenges in the years to come. And how we as humans act at this precise moment in time is going to be decisive for future generations. And here, teachers have an enormous important role, because education is the key to finding the solutions that are needed. So we need teachers with a broad range of personal skills, knowledge about the world, passion, ability to cooperate with people, just to name a few. And these are the kind of teachers we educate here in DNS.
Practical skills!
We think to become a future teacher, it is necessary to understand the different realities we live in, because our world is just more than ever globalized and interconnected, and that's why we learn to travel and travel to learn. So we learn from people, together with people and for people.
Here at DNS, we are learning what it means to be together. I could say that each of us, like a unique star which turns in its own orbit, and suddenly we need to find ourselves in a team setting among the different people with whom we are together. We need to find ourselves as part of a community.
At first it's uncomfortable, but as the time's going by, you kind of realise that the new challenges are that much easier.
Learn by doing, guys. For example, look around. We have to reconstruct this building. Do we know how to do it? Not really, yet, but we do it together.
In DNS, I learned how to think critically and to question, not to take everything for granted. Hypotheses, assumptions, ideas might deviate from reality. That's why it's important to question.
We learn by doing mistakes and not always succeeding. But it never is a failure if the subject, through the process, is being transformed with knowledge. We learn by doing mistakes and not always succeeding.
Okay, so this is a bit more about the video. If you have any questions, by the way, maybe just unmute yourself and scream, because I cannot see all of you at the same time, if that's okay. So yes, this is DNS and a bit more about how it is to be a student at the campus. And now I would like to take some time to tell you what it is exactly what we do during the program, because we talk a lot about our goals and our values and our pedagogy, but let's be specific about what we do. So the program consists of 4 years and it's a bachelor program. At the end of the program, you will have a bachelor in educational sciences and pedagogy. It consists of 4 years and it is made in a way that it starts from very broad and then you slowly narrow it down to become the kind of teacher that you want to be. So we start in the global reality and you learn all about the globe. Then the next year we have the European reality, which narrows it down to learning about Europe. And then there is the school reality, where you are in teaching practice at a school for 1 year. And in the last year, you can really specialize in what kind of teacher you want to be. This kind of looks like this. So at the beginning of the global reality, there will be a 4-month bus travel to Africa. But you cannot just travel to Africa out of nowhere. So first there is 2 months of preparation for this bus travel. So the team comes together, which is usually a team of 8 to 16 students. And for the whole 4 years, they will form a team. They get to know each other, but they also have to prepare for this big, big travel. They need to somehow get a bus and know how to care for this bus, prepare the bus, get a bus driver's license, vaccinations, know where to travel to, what visas you need. So we prepare for 2 months, and then there's a 4-month travel where you slowly go all the way to Western Africa, usually Gambia, I believe, and then you slowly go back up. And during this travel, you gain so many experiences, and this will kind of probably change you as a person, because most people have not previously done a 4-month bus travel to Africa. So then you come back and you are filled with these experiences. You are completely changed as a person. And now you have to, where's my camera? And now you have to do something with this experience. You have to create it into a message. And then after this bus travel, we have the second period during the first year called bringing it to the public. It is in this case this message that you have created out of this big, big experience in Africa. All the students fly out over Europe again, and they bring their message to the public they want to bring it to. This can be at schools or communities or random people at the street, whatever they find appropriate. Then, after such a long year of traveling around and gaining experiences, the money is usually kind of up. And this is where the saving up period comes in. So the first year students spend 3 months of their summer saving up money by doing all kinds of jobs to save up money for the next year to come. And these jobs, it's not just a boring way to spend the time. We think it's also a key part of the program, something that is important for the students to gain these kind of practical experiences as well. Then the second year starts, the European reality, where the students get an apartment together in a city in Europe. And they live in this apartment for 6 months, and they all get a job in the city. The goal of this period is to live an active cultural life within their community. So they kind of have to organize stuff that brings the neighborhood together. And at the same time, all of them, they get a job. So they will be a postman or be a cleaner or be, I don't know, somebody who works at the restaurant or a waiter. And when you do these kind of things, you kind of get in touch with the working class, with the normal people. And we think this is very valuable, because when you will be a teacher later, this will be probably the background of most of your students. So you need to really understand where do they come from, where do their parents come from, what is it like to live paycheck by paycheck or to be an immigrant. So the European reality, this is what happens. And then it's not only fun, there are also studying periods. These happen usually at the campus. Dami will tell us more about it. And then at the end of the second year, you've had 2 years full of experiences, and there are 2 more years to come. So you're right in the middle. And you also are right before your 1-year teaching practice. So this is where we invite students to kind of stand still and reflect. How were these last 2 years, and how do you want to spend the next 2 years? What do you find the most appropriate to do right now? So there is a 3-month period that students can fill in the way that they want to fit it in. And the girl in the picture, for example, she decided to work in a refugee camp to make children smile. But there are also people that go home, or people that go and walk the Camino de Santiago. Whatever they find appropriate to do, and they have a reason for it, they can do it. Then we move on to the 3rd year. This is their teaching practice. So during the previous 2 years, they have not only done all fun kinds of traveling, they have also studied a lot. For example, about different pedagogies. And this is the moment where they can bring this into practice. So for 8 months, they are part of a school, usually as a teacher or a teacher assistant, and they get to try out all these different methods and decide what kind of teacher do they want to be. And not only that, the student is also invited to be, an active part of the school. So you can see what kind of influence does a teacher have in the school? What can you change? What can you not change? Things like this. So you are invited to be a very proactive part of the school. Then there is another studying period, and there also needs to be a lot of preparation, because the next period, the last year, is the specialization year. It's the last year of the program. Excuse me. And the students now really get to choose, what is it that I want to be? What kind of teacher do I want to be, if I want to be a teacher at all? So for this whole year, the students can do their own projects, work at their own organization, whatever they find appropriate to do. So some people decide that they want to be a teacher for children with special needs. Then they can work in a children with special needs school. Somebody who went to Malawi to experience school life in Africa. Somebody went to the Caribbean islands to teach about climate change and all things related. So it's a very free year where you can very much explore what kind of teacher you want to be. Then at the end, there is another studying period. You write your bachelor thesis, and then you are a DNS graduate. All right. Any questions about this part? No? Okay. Then I will give the word to...
I have, sorry.
Yes?
Yeah. Like you said that there is this 8 months teaching practice.
Yes.
How do they choose the school, or who provides the schools where they can do their practices?
Oh, I can answer that.
Okay.
Okay.
There are several schools that are partner schools of DNS that we usually send our students to teaching practice to, and they every year expect even that we send them some students from our school. Then there are some of the students of DNS would really like to choose their own school, so they go and try to find schools to contact public Danish schools and so on, and try to get, or international schools, try to get teaching practice positions there. And from my team, from this year, 3 of them have succeeded to find positions in schools that we have not had contact with before.
I have still questions. Like you said that there is a half a year living together in a city. Is that city given where you have to be, or you just choose a city somewhere in Europe?
The team of people studying at that year chooses the city.
Oh. Amazing. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Can I have only one question? Which level do you have your trainings? Primary, secondary, or is it in your study program? What kind of level are you preparing for as teachers or future teachers?
I think mostly the level that we prepare for to teach in is around primary school level, but it's also quite diverse. It's not very narrow that it's just for this, because then we also train for different teaching possibilities than just in primary schools. So yeah, it can be a lot versatile, but I think if I were to answer the level, it would be primary school.
Okay, thank you.
But if you are a teacher and you really want to teach adults or teach secondary school, you can kind of choose to specialize in that. Isn't that right, Danny?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I also have a question.
Yes.
So, although it's obvious that this school is quite ordinary, but the bachelor's degree that you get is an ordinary degree, isn't it? So it will be accepted by all schools. Is it correct?
Yeah, well, this is a thing about our program. It is not at the moment. At the beginning it was, but at the moment it's not recognized by the Danish state as a teacher training university. So then we had to make a partnership with a university in Mozambique, so that they are providing the certificate of the bachelor degree. And then we also have online studies that we do with the University of Mozambique. But in terms of training, our training of students, it doesn't really make a difference. It is, although, a bit tricky with the recognition of this certificate in Europe. And we're currently working on that and to get it to be recognized and approved in as many countries or universities as we can find.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, but I would like to, if there's no more questions, talk about a little bit about our pedagogy and how we teach. And one of the principles that we care about is student-driven learning. So in our university, the student should be the driving force behind their own learning. So they should be motivated and they should understand the value of that. And of course, there is also a role of the teacher or the program to bring that understanding of to the students, so that students can understand why they are learning and what they are learning for. Can you go to the next one? Another thing that we do quite a lot of is integration of the theory and the practice. So we also practice a lot of learning by doing methods. So we have some theoretical study tasks so that we need to solve, and often we need to, of course, if we are studying a certain subject, we need to write a report on what we have learned, because we need to in some way show that we as students are learning. But most of the tasks or the studies that we do are integrated into the program itself. So if at some moment we're learning about soil and farming, then we are actually putting ourselves into the practice of using the soil and planting seeds in the soil, or maintaining the garden at the university. Yeah, for instance, in teaching practice, we also have tasks that give us tasks to experiment with different teaching methods, and in that way we put them into practice and then combine them with the theory that we get from the theoretical part. Then another part of the program that is important is that you can go to the next one, is the high degree of reality in the program. So this means that we put the students, we let the students be exposed to the reality that they are learning about. So for instance, as Sarah was explaining, in the first year, we have this study travel, where the students go out to visit countries in Africa. And even more than that, we even encourage students to do things we call field investigations. And in the period while they are traveling in Africa, we let the students out of the bus for several days, where they get to be in the environment and learn about the country that they are in, whether it be Gambia or Morocco or Mauritania, but they get to meet the people there and try to communicate with them in any way that they possibly can. Preferably, they even get hosted very often by the families and get to know about their culture. And if the students choose what they would like to investigate more about during that period. So some investigate about agriculture or economy or the politics in that country. And then they use that while they're writing their report to combine what they have actually experienced firsthand with the material that they have been studying about the countries or the African continent and so on. Then another important part of the program is the focus on collectivity. And this is, for instance, when the students work in teams, like I mentioned before. So each year would ideally have a team of around 10 people. It can be more or less. If there is a lot more than 10, we divide them into 2 core groups. And when the students learn about certain things, they're also encouraged to share with each other. So students would give each other courses about the things that they have learned or that they are themselves interested in. So in that way, we learn from each other. We also are living together most of the time as a team. Of course, they go together in this bus to Africa, and they are made to learn to live together with each other. Also, when they are on this period of European reality, living in a European city, they rent an apartment together and live together, and then talk about what they've been experiencing. And a big part of that period is also inviting people into the apartment and hosting events for people to experience the collective, but also to learn from them and to see, okay, what kind of people there are that we can meet in the city. Then what we also do here in DNS is that we involve the students are involved in running the school in different ways. So one of the ways is something we call a common meeting, and that's kind of an element of democratic schools where all the students meet sometimes once a week to discuss the relevant issues that regard the entire school. And there a lot of important decisions are made on the consensus basis. Then we also do a lot of sometimes the practical tasks of maintaining the school. So there's practical cleaning or maintenance, or taking care of food, so shopping and cooking. This is all taken care of by DNS students, and they need to learn how to maintain and organize themselves. Then we are also, another principle is that the creativity and should be something that is encouraged and allowed for during the DNS program. So the DNS program is quite flexible for the DNS students to also define it in a way that they find appropriate, or the way that they would like to experience, get the most out of it, or learn, or what they would like to learn about. So, for instance, in my team, we have been several people quite interested in music, so we decided to invest some of our time into playing music together, and we made some songs. We performed them a few times, but then we were also encouraged to get the most out of it possible. So we also tried to see whether we can play somewhere outside of the campus, and we managed to even play 4 gigs in 2 different cities, which is something that none of us have ever neither experienced before nor expected to experience during this time in DNS. But it was a very good opportunity and a platform for us to be able to experience this. And of course, we learned a lot from that. And then last, we have also teachers in DNS, and how the teachers work is not so much being these vectors of I'm going to give you the knowledge, or I'm going to teach you about something. The teachers in the DNS program are more of integrated into the team, and their role is to make sure that the students or the DNS team is aligned with the program, so that the students are following the program and support in different ways, and also are in contact with the teacher council of DNS regarding sometimes decisions related to the program or the students within the program. So and that is because basically where the learning happens is from the approach of the students to the program. So it's the students' motivation and participation in the program which should be giving them the learning and the growth through both experience, reflection on that experience, through sharing experiences and knowledge, and of course then with expressing their creative potential. So all in all, here in DNS, we believe that to encourage teachers and students to develop across all spheres of life, so not just academically. So for instance, help them develop social skills, practical abilities, civic and interpersonal values, critical thinking, have that mindset of continuous learning, and so on. And the goal of teaching in DNS is to raise well-rounded and independent people who can take charge of their own lives, and then therefore are empowered to get involved and make an impact on the world around them. And I think that's pretty much all I can say for now, unless, and I think actually now is the time if you have any questions for you to ask.
No questions.
So first of all, I would just like to say that since this group of ours started, we have been putting an emphasis on project-based learning and phenomenon-based learning, And I'm just asking because I already suspect the answer, but so do you particularly learn about these two things, like phenomenon-based learning and project-based learning? Are these things embedded in your study materials?
To be honest, we don't actually use that much the terms of project-based learning and phenomenon-based learning. I think they can be related to in some way, maybe not completely, but to learning through experience and reflection on that experience, which we put a lot of emphasis on. And maybe learning by doing, but I also know what project-based learning is, but we don't mention it that much in DNS because I studied before in a Danish university. There is a lot of focus on project-based learning. But in DNS, there are definitely projects or situations where the students need to work together to solve a certain thing, or to, for instance, organize an event like a conference or Olympic Games for 300 school children. So there is those elements, but we don't necessarily learn about this. Don't particularly mention it in this form.
Probably these are just two different names for the same thing. Because this, like you mentioned, learning by doing is probably the essence of project-based learning as well. But okay, so you don't study about it as a separate method or anything. Mm-hmm.
No.
Thanks.
I also have a question. Can I?
Yes, and happy birthday.
Yes. Do you know about other teacher training institutes or other programs like yours anywhere around the world? Or are you, I guess you are not unique. I mean, you are unique, but maybe there are more. And do you collaborate with them?
Well, DNS is the only DNS college in Europe that we have in Denmark, but we also have many sister schools that have the same learning methods, I would say, based all over Africa and India. But maybe Damir can tell me more about it.
And the teachers who train in your school and who go to work in any other primary or secondary schools, anywhere in state schools or private schools, if you keep in touch with them, do you have any feedback that they do use these methods that they learn at your place?
Not that I'm aware of much. Although it's also important, responding to this question, I would mention that it is only about half of the people who graduate from DNS actually end up becoming teachers in one way or another. So many choose actually different career paths, but when they reflect upon their experience in DNS, many have also said that it was because they were in DNS, is that being here will open the doors for them to explore certain avenues in life or in their careers.
Yes, in my opinion, this is a possible way into the future. We don't know the future, but these skills that you emphasize, these soft skills, are very much needed, or very soon will be needed, and that's why I can imagine that you are not the only one. But I may be mistaken. I don't know. But it looks a very good example, in my opinion, though it's very complicated when it's a system. But thank you for answering.
Okay. I would have a question, if I may. Actually, two. The first one is there age limit to join your program? Because I think it would be very useful for those who, you know, were trained decades ago. So you are teaching new stuff, and as Oshi mentioned, skills that will be very much indeed in the future. Why did you join this training? What were your motivations? That's the real question, really. Because Damir, you said that you studied in a state teacher training as well, and you came to this program later on. So what were your motivations to do this very special training?
Just to clarify, what I studied before I studied here was actually environmental engineering, so it was not much related. But what brought me to study here and what motivated me to do this program was one of the things was this development of soft skills, because I realized that it is something that is very difficult to train in this program. I will be faced with things where I will need to learn these things, and it seemed like it would be a very fun way to spend 4 years of my life, while also learning these skills. But I think what actually made the biggest importance for me was that when I studied before, I didn't see passion in what I was doing. I could do engineering, and I didn't have a problem with that, but I just did not see myself in the future focusing my career on that. So I think I realized that I have a bit more passion of working with people, and also I realized that when I came to visit this college, I could feel that it feels like the place where I belong much better than elsewhere in society.
And sorry, you forgot to say, what is the age limit to join the college?
Sarah?
So the guidelines we have is between 18 and 30. 18 is a hard minimum because we just simply cannot send minors to Africa. The upper limit is a bit more flexible, but for older people that would consider it, it is important to know that you will be living together with people in their early mid-20s for 4 years. So
challenge.
Something that
or fun.
Yeah, I mean, it can be fun. And what I wanted, but we do have shorter summer camps without any age limit that explore kind of the same concepts and also different school systems within Denmark. And they're organized on the campus. They take like 2 weeks, and it is like a mini DNS experience, I would say.
Sarah, could you send the link of those 2 weeks mini DNS camp into the chat? So if anyone is interested, or somehow just to find them,
yeah.
if you have the chance.
I can.
Yeah,
One
super.
other thing I wanted to add to Damir's story about he got to DNS is my story how I got to DNS, even though I'm not a student yet. I joined one of these volunteering events that they have 3 times a year, and a whole new world opened for me, so to say, because for me as a 21-year-old, the future can seem very scary. And there are so many things going on in the world that it feels like we don't have any influence on. So it is very easy to just lose hope and not care anymore and kind of give up on this. So that was what I have been doing for 2 years. Like, I really wanted to change things, but the things were so big that I tried not to think about it for that much. And then I got to DNS, and for 2 weeks straight, I was surrounded by about 50 people that were all working together and were all putting in so much effort to make this world a better place. And they were working together. They were not focusing on money. They were eating healthy vegetarian food. And I was like, okay, this is also a possibility. These people have come together to do something good. That's how I got to them, and that's when I thought, okay, this could be something where I can have an impact. And I will share the link.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. I just see that we are shocked. Like, for me, it's sort of like a hippie way of learning how to be a good human on Earth. But still, this is somehow where we are heading to. And I'm wondering, like, all those students you have who have already graduated at DNS and went to, I would say, normal schools, were they able to fit in and stay there like for long term and work there for long term? Or how did they handle the different circumstances they have in normal schools or in state-owned schools?
This is a question that I right now don't have an answer to, but maybe Damir knows.
I can partly answer it also. I know that some have started working and are still working in public schools back in their own countries. And I think, I don't know how it is the experience for them, but I know that during the DNS program, we are also prepared for the challenges of entering a public education institution. So that sometimes I don't think that even the students who graduate the regular universities get properly prepared for education in public institution.
Mm-hmm. I have two more questions here, sorry. One I forgot, but do you have a Hungarian student who have ever been there or is still there from Hungary?
Yes, too many.
Really?
No, not too many. We are very happy with them because every year, consistently, we have at least one or two.
Super.
I see Damir is counting.
Super. Could you give them my contact that if they need a school where to teach, then we have option for them, even though it's in the countryside, but
that's amazing.
Okay. Super. Lulala. And I
Yes.
had one more, but what was that? I don't know. I will ask when it comes. Okay,
May I
thanks.
just say that now I was checking out your website and I saw that you even have a Hungarian teacher.
I had the teachers. Mhm.
Yes.
Like, she's called Jennifer.
Yes.
Yeah, it's my teacher.
Really? Great.
Yes, we had.
I've met her. She's great.
Yes, she did.
And is she a teacher in Hungary as well? Like,
No, I don't think so. She teaches in Denmark.
She said she would rather not come back to Hungary, which is fair, I guess.
yeah, the other question was like, who are the teachers there in DNS? Where do they come from? Where do they graduate? Like, what kind of background do they have?
Usually they are ex-DNS students because it is very important that the teachers have gone through this program because it's very difficult to understand how it is otherwise.
Yeah, actually, mostly it is DNS graduate. Now we're working on actually getting to employ a person who is educated in educational psychology and design of education from Spain. So he is currently working on his PhD, and he came to visit, and it's very exciting. It would be very exciting to have somebody who is a lot more academic working with us, because we're more in this learning by doing and experience and reflection. And we're a bit, I feel like sometimes we lack a bit of this academic quality.
And I have one more question. Does the DNS think on open their, like your own school where you have kids from 6 up to 18?
Sounds like a good idea, actually. But
Wait,
we are
what
not
was the
thinking
question?
about it.
Mhm. Pardon?
What was the question?
Like, could it be an option that DNS opens its own school from grade or from year 6 up to 18, like having a real environment for educating kids in that approach from the beginning, like a pure one? How would it look like? Like often universities have their own practice school where they send the teachers to practice.
We used to have a similar thing. Like we live at this campus, and DNS is part of this campus, but there were two other institutions. There was a care home for adults with a handicap, and there was a boarding school for youth that has kind of fallen out of the system. And these were children between, I think, 12 and 20. And our DNS students, they practiced their teaching at this school. And we did a lot of things together. So, but right now, because of regulations change, they unfortunately moved away. But maybe in the future, we will have something similar like that again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
I will show you, wait, this over here. So, if if this is something you think, oh, it's cool, and it would be nice maybe if we could keep in touch in one way or another. So we have a few things going on during the year at our campus, as you can see in the picture over here. It's a nice place where we often welcome many guests. So we have the 3 volunteering events: the Twin Olympics, the Winter Concert, the Peace Justice Conference. And this is where many international volunteers come together to, together with the students, organize this big event for about a week. And we have actually a partnership with a school in Lithuania that liked our idea so much that they bring a school class of their own to each event to participate in these kind of things. We also have this summer camp that I told you about. And we also use our place for other things. For example, Twint is the name of the community. We welcome teachers from schools that want to have their own conference in a stimulating place. We have people like me going around Europe to give workshops at schools, like I did at Orshi's place. And we also do online workshops sometimes. So if these are things that you would like to hear more about, you can click on the link and fill in the little form that I put in the chat, and then we can stay in touch if that is something you're interested in, just to give you the opportunity. Because we love to work together with other schools, other people, other cultures. That's what we're all about.
Super, that's great. I'm positively shocked, but it's really wow. Utopistic way of how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. We have sort of like 1 minute left. So if anyone has questions, like please don't keep inside and share with us. Okay, I have sent a message to everyone directly, and there is a Google Forms inside, a questionnaire about what to have next time. And I would really like to thank to you that you joined us and you shared, Sarah and Damir, your experiences and your knowledge at DNS. We will get in touch with Sarah. We had already agreed about that beforehand. To see how online workshops and on-site workshops could happen here in Hungary, at least in the countryside where we are, or even we will talk about that, how to share with others as well. And just before finishing, I know that we usually have only one, no, not usually, we only have one session per month, but as this is the closing, this month is the closing of the project, in 2 weeks, on 29th, we will have the closing online session where we will announce the Good Practices Handbook and share the QR code or the online approach of that. And even I hope until that we will go quite far with the ELTMN Idea Hub. Zsuzsa and Fodi and us, we are working on it, and we were meeting this week as well. And maybe if it's only like 1 minute, but if you have 1 minute left, then Zsuzsa can tell us a bit like how far did we go with Fodi, because he found solutions for us. Is it okay for you? Like stay 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes? Zsuzsa?
Okay, maybe it would be Fodi who could say a lot more about the different types of schemes that we can use for the Idea Hub. But it was a very fruitful discussion we had the last time, 3 of us. Fodi had a look at different, as I said, different types of schemes that we could use, different kinds of functions that would be useful for us teachers to use this Idea Hub for our profit. So it would be beneficial for us all. So Fodi had great ideas, Edith had great ideas. We combined them together, and we'll see what happens at the next meeting. We are on it. We are doing this platform, and hopefully it will reach as many teachers as possible. And I think we can get back to the details when we meet on the 29th, maybe. And until then, maybe in our common Facebook chat group, I'm going to send you some questions, because I would like also you to give some feedback on some things, some concrete, specific things concerning this platform. Okay.
Okay, thank you. And I just had the idea that as we are building up an international network of, at the first stage, for English language teachers, but the next stage is for all kind of teachers. Maybe Sarah and Damir, you could announce this option or later on share or poster that even DNS teachers could join, or community where teachers globally could work together and create I mean, ideas, lesson plans, teaching approaches, like getting more and more innovative globally as well. So it's like an invitation for you and for your community as well to come and be part of this ELTMN community, like combining community together and then be one and not working separately.
Is there some kind of promotional material or a flyer or a poster that I could share in the...
Well, actually, what we do is, like, maybe not today, but tomorrow I will create another poster, but we have the Facebook link and we have the website. I will send it to you in the email, and you can just spread it to your colleagues and to your students. That it's also I would say, like, from bottom up growing initiative. How do we say that? Like a
initiative.
Yeah, thank you. And it's coming from teachers' heart, and it's just how we combine or link together.
We also have some YouTube videos about.
Yeah, we have the YouTube channel.
organized.
Yeah, sure. So we have like 4 YouTube channel, the website, the Facebook site, and the Facebook group. But I will send you all of them and just spread it, and we can make a better world for the kids.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Okay, I thank you for being here for today. I'm kindly asking you to fill in the questionnaire, because we will need it for planning the next sessions. And even the project ends, I think our activity and our passion and vision does not end, so we will continue. And have a nice afternoon, and thanks for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for sharing the information.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice meeting you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nice day.